Today we're going to be demonstrating how to throw a 14-foot one firefighter roof ladder. The ladder that we're using today is a 27-pound duo safety aluminum ladder. Some key components of the ladder include the top of the ladder, or the tips, the roof hooks, the rungs, which are 14 inches on center, the beams, the balance point, which is where the ladder is shouldered, which are marked by the black stripes, as well as the spurs at the base of the ladder, which make contact with the ground. When using a ladder, you never want to step over it, kick it, or abuse the ladder. Furthermore, when you are using a ladder, you want to give commands out loud. You start with a preparatory and an action command. Today our action command will be ladder. The first thing a cadet or a firefighter is going to do when throwing a 14-foot ladder is going to position himself on the right side of the ladder, facing the tips, and kneeling down by the balance points, which are indicated by the black stripes. By placing one hand on the beam, he's going to beam the ladder over by saying, "Beam, ladder!" placing the ladder on its beam. Next, he's going to shoulder the ladder and turn 180 degrees facing the spurs. He says this by, "Shoulder, ladder!" Now that he's facing the building, he's going to walk forward and state, "Forward, ladder!" When walking forward, he wants to look above to make sure he's not going to hit any power lines or aerial obstructions. He says this by saying, "Clear above!" Once it's clear above, he's going to continue forward and find his mark where he's going to beam raise his ladder. When he finds his mark, he's going to say, "Beam raise, ladder!" He places the spur on the ground and twists the ladder so that it's vertical. When the ladder's vertical and he's ready to lean it into the building, he says, "Lean, ladder!" By placing one foot on the bottom rung and holding the beams, he leans the ladder forward. To make sure that the ladder is proper to climb, he's going to check 4 points of contact, which means that the spurs are parallel with each other and touching the ground, as well as the tips at the top of the building, and that he has a proper climbing angle. By checking proper climbing angle, he's going to foot the base of the ladder and stick his arms out straight by holding a rung. In the event that he needs to reposition a ladder, he's going to grab the 2nd and 5th rung and state, "Respot ladder!" By respotting a ladder, you are thus improving your proper climbing angle as well as your 4 points of contact. When he has checked both of those, he's going to stand by his ladder and state, "Ladder ready to climb, son!" When he's ready to remove his ladder, he's going to state, "Clear above, clear behind," to clear his workspace. When he's ready to remove the ladder, he places his foot on the bottom rung, both hands on the beams, and states, "Remove ladder." Back into a vertical position. When he's ready to lower his ladder, he's going to pivot on the bottom spur and state, "Lower ladder," placing the ladder back onto a high shoulder carry indicated by the balance point. "Shoulder ladder." He's now going to have to turn around and go back to where he came from. He does this by saying, "Ladder coming around." However, he needs to turn his ladder with the spurs facing the opposite direction. He needs to do this by performing a beam over. He does this first by stating, "Clear above," to make sure that there are no power lines or aerial obstructions. He then performs his beam over by stating, "Beam over, ladder." Notice how he places the ladder on its spur and closely twists it to the ground. Once that is done, he states, "Shoulder ladder," placing the ladder back on his shoulder and finally needing to ground the ladder. He says, "Ladder." He places the ladder back on its beam and pulls it towards him in order to ground the ladder.